Welcome to the channel. Today we will be discussing how to secure your Mikrotik router against most attacks and unauthorized access. As usual, before we begin, please support my channel by liking and commenting on this video, or if you prefer, by donating. This greatly helps in promoting this video and the channel overall, and it also motivates me to create more videos for you. So let's get started. The first step is to update the firmware to the latest version. This is very important for security because attackers are constantly looking for new ways to exploit devices, and manufacturers are continually releasing updates to patch discovered vulnerabilities. To update your router, go to the System, Greater Than Packages menu. Here you will see the current firmware version. Click the Download and Install button and choose either the stable or long-term releases. These are the two recommended firmware versions to use. The download and installation process will start automatically. Do not turn off the device during the update. It's also important to update the hardware firmware similar to the BIOS on a motherboard. This is done in System Greater Than Router board. After this, reboot the device. The next step is to disable the default account and create a new one. Many hacks are related to this step. Go to System, Greater Than Users, and click the plus icon to add a new user, such as admin with a strong password. Next, we disable services that we do not use. Unfortunately, some services like Telnet, FTP, Web Interface, and SSH can pose security threats. Therefore, it's better to disable them immediately through IP, Greater Than services. Only leave the services you need, such as Winbox. The next step is to restrict auto-detection of the device. This setting will help hide your Mikrotik router from automatic detection by other devices and potential attackers. Go to IP Greater Than Neighbors and set the Discover Interface List option to LAN only. This way, the router will only be visible in your local network and not from outside. Another step in securing the router is adjusting the MAC server settings, which are used for connection with specialized utilities. In Tool Greater Than MAC Server, you will see the Telnet, Winbox, and Ping servers. Allow access to them only from the local network by setting the allowed interface list equal Tolen. The Ping server should be completely disabled. Now we move on to the last and most important step in securing Mikrotik, which is the firewall rules. By default, Mikrotik has a set of firewall rules that block most potential attacks and increase router performance. However, these rules are not sufficient to adequately protect your device from scanning and hacking attempts. So, we will enhance them for stronger protection. Go to IP, Greater Than Firewall, Greater Than Filter rules. All rules for Mikrotik protection are addressed and work in the input chain, and as a reminder, all rules in the Mikrotik firewall are processed from top to bottom. Let's start creating the rules. The first rule allows established and related connections. The default firewall also includes untracked connections here, so we will add that too. These basic rules are necessary to reduce the load on the router's processor. The next rule drops invalid packets, which is essentially unwanted traffic. Next, we will add ICMP rules. We will only add the necessary rules required for the proper functioning of the network. You can watch my separate video on ICMP to understand what these rules mean. Additionally, we will modify these rules for better protection. For each rule, set a packet limit of 5 per second from one IP address. The packets will be counted after the fifth one, as indicated by the number 5 in the burst field. So, 5 packets are not counted, then another 5 are allowed, allowing no more than 10 packets from one address. If this is too much for you, you can reduce the number. Some people only allow ICMP requests from permitted IP addresses, but in most cases, limiting the number of packets from one IP address is sufficient. Finally, add a drop rule for all other ICMP requests that are not allowed above. The next step is to add a port scan detect rule. This rule will protect us from port scanning. A more detailed explanation of this rule is available on my channel, and I will link to this video in the description. In short, this rule detects IP addresses that try to scan our router and adds them to a separate list, and then blocks them on the raw tab. It is advisable to use address lists in this rule to avoid accidentally blocking necessary addresses. There is also a tutorial on how to work with address lists on my channel. Done. The basic security setup for your Mikrotik router is complete. Of course, more complex networks will require additional firewall rules, but the foundation is set. Your router is now well protected from most threats. If you have any suggestions or think I missed something, please write about it in the comments under the video. That's all for now. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next videos.